This episode of Lore Drop is sponsored by R. Gene Smith. Thank you so much for all your hard work and support, Mom. Go on over to West End and see a production of Les Mis.
Nice.
And this production of Les Mis was interrupted by one very French Fortunato. Who felt personally offended by the content of Les Mis.
I can see that.
And so tried to steal the entire set mid-production is what Fortunato was doing.
Welcome to Lore Drop, a Reinvent podcast. I'm Abby, the executive director of Reinvent Productions.
I'm Ben, the creative and artistic director.
And today is a very special episode because we have not one, but two extra party members today. They are our friends.
James
and then
Beth.
And James and Beth played Mom and Dad in Ordinary Heroes, who are also Mr. and Mrs. Fahrenheit. And we are really excited to be talking to them about these characters today. Before we get to the most important part of the episode, I do want us to put a little Easter egg, not an Easter egg thing, just some context for this episode. Ben and I have spent the last 3 hours in urgent care because he sliced open his finger. And Beth and James were so chill, and we were going to record at 6:30. It is 9:38 right now. But
3 hours later.
We are very grateful for them, and grateful for the very nice doctor at urgent care who stitched up Ben. I don't want to go back there anytime soon.
No.
But yeah, so fun little
That's nuts.
context for this episode.
Nuts.
He had a wonderful beard.
He did.
It was majestic.
It was majestic, and I really wanted...
Duck Dynasty
Yes.
majestic?
Yeah.
Like maybe he uses a little product.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and I really
And then
wanted...
bald head too, so it was just beard.
I wanted
was
to
like, oh,
ask
nice.
him because on his badge he had a very short beard.
Yeah.
But it was like down to like his chest, and I really wanted to be. I was like, how long did it take you to grow that out?
Like, did you wonder where his monocle and his thing
a
right
little
here
bit,
on the...
yeah.
And I also was
carding?
like, how long have you been in this urgent care? Because I was like reading the tag, and it was like the 24/7 urgent care. So I was like, you've been here long enough that beard was this short. So I'm like, but he was wonderful. So if you're listening to this,
Shout out Jerry.
thank you, Jerry.
Dr. Jer.
I did almost pass out.
No, not.
No, not well, actually, I mean, Beth's Dr. Jerry also helped us out a lot.
Yes,
as
Jeremy's
well.
a nice boy.
Yeah, we were panic texting, and Beth's husband Jeremy was very helpful over the phone. But yeah, so anyway, medical crises aside, we must decide the most important part of the episode, which is what animated quartet we are today.
Yeah.
And Beth had a pretty solid one.
I had to check the internet for inspiration. Quartets are harder.
Yeah.
But I came up with the Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
Yes.
I love the Ninja Turtles so much.
I do too.
Which turtle is everybody?
Oh, I'm
Donatello. I'm just going to jump right in.
Okay.
Raphael.
Okay.
No. I take that back. Michelangelo.
Okay.
Mikey.
Okay.
I feel like between the two of us, you were the more Raphael one,
Yeah.
Abby.
Yeah. I can agree to that.
Yeah. I
Then
guess that makes me Leonardo by default.
that works. That works. Cool. We love turtles.
Nice.
I have so many fond memories of playing Ninja Turtles when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the backyard kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Like we made our own weapons and
Nice.
beat each other.
Drink from the hose.
Me and my neighborhood friends. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Back
had
when-
the season 1 box set of not the black and white one, but like whichever one before the 2003 show. I don't remember what decade it was coming out.
Yeah,
in.
that was 90s.
Okay.
That'd been it. That'd been the ones we watched.
That's
But
the one.
I had the DVD set of season 1 of that, and so that was my like road trip. Like, you remember those little
Nice.
DVD players you could just strap onto like the head seat?
Yeah.
That was what I would be watching the whole time. It was great.
That was pre iPad Kid days.
Yeah.
Man, simpler times.
Yes.
Well, so today we're going to be talking about Mr. and Mrs. Fahrenheit, who are a really cool superhero couple within the Reinvent universe. So we're first going to talk about the Universe 17 version of them.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk to Beth and James about them playing mom and dad, and then these superheroes that showed up at the end of Ordinary Heroes. So Ben, you want to tell us about their Universe 17 counterparts?
Yeah. So in Universe 17, the main reinvent universe, Mr. and Mrs. Fahrenheit are heroes who are members of the Order of Heroes. And so we'll talk about each of them in turn. So the first one, because there's a little bit of a bummer that comes with these guys compared to Universe 1. But Abby Thomas is the real name of Mrs. Fahrenheit. She is a human woman who gained superpowers after the mysterious explosion of the polymerization reactor in Wellsburg. Abby was a chemist on the project for the polymerization reactor.
Women in STEM.
Yeah.
Love
the
it.
powers that she gained from that is that she can draw heat from the individuals and the space around her in order to create and control flames with that. And so some of her notable allies include Mr. Fahrenheit, of course, as well as the Walker and Burst, fellow members of the Order of Heroes, and notable adversaries. And these two have way more villains than I thought they did when I was looking back through my paperwork. So a lot of their villains, not all of them, but some of their villains come in pairs. But so the ones specific to Mrs. Fahrenheit are Spring Heel, Bishop, Lady Locke, and Sleeper Agent, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rod.
Yeah. And then from there, we have Mr. Fahrenheit, whose real name is John Brown, is a human man who gained superpowers after the explosion of the polymerization reactor. He was on the security team there at the Minerva Institute. But Mr. Fahrenheit can draw heat from individuals in the space around him to increase his own body temperature and make his own skin much more hot to the touch. And so their powers combine very well because it's like, cool, he can draw the heat to himself, and then Mrs. Fahrenheit can focus on drawing the heat from him for the powers and everything. But so some of Mr. Fahrenheit's allies are Mrs. Fahrenheit, Inferno Man, and Prismatic Man. And then notable adversaries for Mr. Fahrenheit are the Haunted Man, Rook, and Lord Hobbs.
What is he the lord of?
I don't know. It was
Okay.
so a lot of these were like in tandem names. So like Rook and Bishop go together because chess pieces.
Yeah.
And then Lady Locke and Lord Hobbs because of the philosophers Hobbs and Locke. Those are ones that like always get talked about right next to each other in European history stuff. Which is the other segue is that Mr. and Mrs. Fahrenheit are British in Universe 17.
What?
They're
I
a British
forgot
pair of
about that.
heroes.
Thank you for not making
Yeah.
us do an
Oh, no,
accent.
absolutely not.
I have flashbacks to Mousetrap.
Yeah. But yeah, which is honestly really ironic that they use Fahrenheit in their names instead of Celsius.
Oh,
I think someone
right.
pointed
Oh,
that out to me
that
before
is.
too, and I was like, Celsius just doesn't sound as cool as Fahrenheit.
No.
I think it was Ray when we were playing.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. Ray was like, why is this?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, so that is the basic rundown of them. Some of their story. Their first real world appearance was in the Dynamite campaign, the second D&D campaign that was run, and that was sort of they were introduced along with most of the Order of Heroes when the alien invasion had started on Earth, and so all of the heroic groups had gathered to form what was called the Earth Defense Legion, a sort of like massive coalition of all the hero groups on Earth.
It was all the people who were like, hey, we don't want aliens to take over the earth. And there were people that didn't join that. There were groups that didn't join that.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
Gemstone being one of them.
Some people were like, I'll abstain and just watch and see what happens. But yeah, so that was their first appearance in there. But to go back chronologically, and that was, so in that campaign, that was in 2026. So we jump back in the timeline 10 years to their time at the Minerva Institute. In 2016 was when the actual like reactor, the incident with the polymerization reactor happened, where the idea of this reactor is that they were trying to make clean, renewable energy. And naturally, in a comic book style setting, that always goes according to plan.
Yeah.
Right. So the reactor started melting down one night. And so everyone who was still on the premises sort of jumped into action to try and prevent that from happening. And so a lot of this stuff, they ended up in both of them, pretty much all of the heroes who ended up with these like fire powers, because there's about 4 or 5 of them altogether who do end up with that. All of them ended up in sort of like the temperature control section of the reactor, and that is with their various tasks is how their powers ended up coming together. But it is fun to note though at the time that the two of them were just like coworkers. It wasn't until after that when they started their heroing stuff and they sort of, back in England, and they were like, well, there's not a lot of superheroes in England, and our powers synergize together really well, so we might as well work together. And sort of one of those follows the trope of like, oh, started out as like normal crime fighting partners, and then the relationship developed further from there.
It's like coworkers becoming
Yeah.
best friends.
And so it's ironic as well because in the universe, they are, contrary to their hero names, they're not actually married. It was one of those that was just like
All right.
internet forums and social media was just like they work really well together and all this stuff. And they were like, all right, well, I guess we'll just use this for the branding purposes anyway. And then
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like,
That is true to form. I love
it's
that.
like Beth and James
Yeah.
are not married to each other. They're both married, but they
Yeah,
got different
yeah.
spouses.
I love that.
but yeah, so
Wait,
the
so
two of
they
them.
never get married?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
I have
nuts.
Yeah.
I have been operating under the impression that they were married in
Yeah.
Universe 17. Well, then I'm not as sad about what happens.
Well, they were still together. That's the thing. But anyway, I'll get there in a second.
Still, like,
So
kissed.
in 27.
Sorry, it's almost 10 p.m.
That's
It's
really
been
funny.
a long day.
So it wasn't until July of 2017 when they joined the Order of Heroes, when they were out for a date one night, and trying to be like, oh, it'll be just an easy, nice little day, nothing's going on. They chose to go on over to West End and see a production of Les Mis.
Nice.
And this production of Les Mis was interrupted by one very French Fortunato, who felt personally offended by the content of Les Mis,
I can see that.
and so tried
Right.
to steal the entire set mid production is what Fortunato was doing. And so
That's a beast of a set, too, man.
Right.
Especially the West End one.
yeah, and so the Fahrenheits jumped into action to prevent that from happening, and that naturally caught the eye of the Order of Heroes, and they're like, well, we got to get them on our ranks. So that is what they were recruited from. Yeah, it's been delightful. Like going back is like, oh no, a lot of these characters are way more interconnected than I remember. Actually,
That's awesome.
I love that.
and
Tried to
so
steal
all of
the
that
set.
was their appearances before the actual Dynamite campaign. So we talked about their first appearance with the Defense Legion. After that, in 2026, the Order of Heroes goes on to their own specific task, which is in the world of Reinvent. There's also this group called the Apocalypse Captains, which are 4 pirate captains across the world who have these massive ships and sort of run rampant on these specific oceans. So all of them are themed after the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And so the leader of the Order of Heroes at the time, Warhead, used to serve under Captain War's ship. And so he said, hey, this is a really well-equipped vessel that we would do well because we need to use the ocean to actually maneuver and travel because the airways are not safe because of aliens, and land is not safe because aliens have the airways as well. But also the infrastructure with other groups like Project Alpha was really had land dominance there. So they went with the help of their water-based heroes. They went to attack and capture the flagship of Captain War, and in this battle to capture Captain War's flagship, unfortunately, there were 3 members of the Order of Heroes who died in that effort. It was Solid Man, the Help, and Mr. Fahrenheit
Oh, womp womp.
died
Womp womp.
in this attempt.
I remember because that happened not
Away
off,
from the table, yeah.
Not, I was about to say off screen. It was away from the table, and you told us that, and I was like, wait, but Mrs. Farron, they're supposed to be together. What'd you do that for?
Does she get real broken up?
Yeah. Yeah, she has a whole character arc about it, because the next time we see Mrs. Fahrenheit then is in the liberation of Rondor a couple weeks later, where she ends up on board the Lady Legacy to help out with their efforts in breaking the blockade around Rondor, because this was the first step in retaking Earth. And so she is there and is very much a very different presence, because like I said, the heroes didn't, the main characters, the player characters didn't get the chance to interact with her a lot, but I was like, she's notably different now.
Sure.
Aren't those pirates?
Mm-hmm.
I'm connecting the dots in my head
Yeah.
while you're
So,
talking.
okay, so it is helpful to give a little bit of background with this. So the Lady Legacy, we like to say they're pirates. They're really not.
By technicality.
By technicality, yes, but they're kind of like Robin Hood type characters. They'll
Gotcha.
do what they need
Okay.
to do to help out. So when at this point. During the liberation of Rondor Arc, that was when my character Aurora was the captain of the ship, because they were trying to get her home because she had been run out of her
Okay.
country.
Okay.
So she's on this pirate ship. And it's they hang out in this place called Pirates Bay all the time, and that's the one place that they know that they can be safe, because the people that had been chasing them are very much banned from that place, to the point where their ship will be blown up if they get within 20 miles of the bay. So they're technically pirates, but they're not pirates.
Yeah.
They're
All right.
they're silly little guys. But it's just easier to say like, oh, it's a pirate ship.
But yeah, so she is with them on that boat during the liberation of Rondor, and then goes with the rest of the Order of Heroes to sort of like because Rondor at the time had like this border this border fence which is very like highly technological. It was from Gemstone Industries that they got the tech for that. So the Order of Heroes worked from both sides to sort of take that fence down and the security around it, so that people could help from the mainland and not just from sea.
It's like British Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Oh.
basically
Alright,
what
yeah.
Rondor is.
Okay.
And so then Mrs. Fahrenheit shows up once again in the 8 Days War, the finale of the Dynamite campaign, which is where everyone is really here. But she is out there as well with the Order of Heroes, variously across the front lines and stuff, helping out and fighting off against the aliens. They're in the big finale. But yeah, that is the main contributions they have in Dynamite. And then after the Dynamite campaign is around the year 2030, so like 4 years later, after the sort of like society and the Order of Heroes have sort of like restructured a lot, Mrs. Fahrenheit says, all right, I'm out. I am done here. I am not retiring from heroing, but she's like, I can't do the Order of Heroes anymore. Just from like, because the leader at the time with Mr. Fahrenheit's death, Warhead, he did step down. He also retired, but it wasn't like it was a sort of like, it's just this group, emotionally I can't handle being here anymore. And so she left on her own and then became just Fahrenheit. Adopted the new name of Fahrenheit, and so becomes a much more an independent hero and stays in like the England British Isles area. I say Isles, it's one like Lobster Claw Island in this world map. But yeah, that is the extent that we have for the Fahrenheits in Universe 17. And so then to talk about them in Ordinary Heroes in Universe 1, in here, Mr. and Mrs. Fahrenheits are characters created and used by Wendell in his comic books, which are directly inspired by his mom and dad. And so major differences, their powers operate pretty functionally the same. And notable allies then include the other Order of Heroes members, such as Circuit, Misfortune, Book, Sneak. And then notable adversaries, the one that they fight the most for sure is Lady Earthquake, and Booming Boxer is also another one they fight. Witch Doctor is everyone's adversary there at the end too.
Everyone's number one op.
Yeah, but yeah, and that's also the fun, like in the ending, like with Volume 3, Issue 3, it's a fun thing because Book is the first one who shows up as like, oh, here's a real world person now in the comic book. But honestly, when formulating in my brain of like, okay, how do I transfer the real world characters into here? This was the first one that I was like, no, this is the easiest one to identify of like, this is who they turn into.
Yeah, I remember reading that for the first time. And so Ben has this ritual where he will hand me his laptop to read something and then he'll go do the dishes. And I think that this was one of those situations from across the house. I was like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Fahrenheit are here. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like this is so great. But yeah, no, and it was something that you've said this before about like you kind of kept that close to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't let people know before that first read through that like, hey.
But my question is, if somebody comes to you, Ben, and says, how does this fit in your canon? How did they get here?
Yeah.
How do you explain that?
For like the universe.
Have you worked that out?
The reinvent with the different like universe systems, the way this multiverse operates is that all the universes are like parallel to each other, like a set of train tracks, right? And they don't really intersect at any points. And so the only like traveling is to the immediate neighbor universes. That's the only way you can hop from one to another. And so if someone from Universe 17 wanted to make it to Universe 1, they got to go the short way through Universe 16, 15, 14, and so on, or the long way, because there are only 100 universes total. So then they could go the other way around. But with that, there's also like time dilation. So some universes, like this one is 1,000 years in the past, and there's these things. This one, Universe 16, notably, is 20 years in the future of Universe 17. And so Universe 1 is the unique one because it sort of lives in this like there is like a distinct timeline with it.
Well, in Universe 1, the way that I like to explain it to people is that like everything that happens in any other of the 99 universes happens from Wendell's brain. in Universe 1.
Ah.
Because the whole thing is
And that was Ordinary Heroes?
Yes.
Okay, just so I'm on track.
Mhm.
Do you get into temporal mechanics, Annie? Does somebody manipulate time?
A little bit. There's some people here and there.
I'm working on a play about that right now.
Yeah. Percy, the main character of What If, has a power ring that lets her turn back and freeze time. And there's a whole situation.
Sorry if I'm
with
taking
that.
you down a road
No,
you
absolutely.
want to go
No.
on.
I love this stuff. Yeah. And then there's also, if you remember during the Lady Legacy stage play, the characters talking during the pre-show of Ted and Alan. And Alan was the one that James Cross did the voice for, but he is a sort of like eldritch, very high power being that is a sort of representation of time itself.
Okay.
And so those are the closest things that get to manipulating
Alright.
time. But yeah, and for me, at least with Universe 1, the thing, because I also like to be very distinctive, like, no, this universe has to be different than other ones for these specific reasons. And so for me, Universe 1 is like, the reinvent stories are the things written by Wendell in that one. It is the comic books.
Or Wendell's friends.
Or other writers and stuff. Whereas in other universes like 17, it is the whole world, and everything. And so Universe 1 is the one where we get to play a lot with like meta narrative stuff.
Sure.
A thing that was really cool for me about this show is that we got to work with two people that Ben and I we've gotten to direct and act alongside you before, and having y'all play our parents was pretty cool. Ben's parents, my in-laws. I did go back and I was like, when did I text Beth about this? Because I texted Beth on April 26th.
I was going to say it was about this time last year.
Yeah. 2025. I was like, hey.
Gag, that's almost to the day. Let's say the 29th
of March.
It's
it's
we're
March.
it's like we're
Sorry.
a month short, but it is. I was like, hey, question for you. This is really far out, but I'm directing a staged reading, a stage reading of Ben's newest play. And originally it was going to be performed in November, but I was like, would you be interested in reading the script to see if you'd like to play Mom? I've been racking my brain to try and figure out a Lubbock actress to play my mother-in-law, and you're one of the few people I would trust to do the role justice. And then I didn't get a response from you until much later, and I was like, oh no.
That's typical.
I was like,
don't take that personally.
But I was like, I don't know anybody else in town that I'd really want to play this. And then when we were like, oh my gosh, we could get James to be Bill Smith, and that'd be really cool. And
you know where I was when I heard the news? I was at Band X, and you and James Cross were sitting in front of us at Band X because we were watching Eleanor.
That's why we were watching.
And you guys like looking back, were like, "Hey, got an idea for you."
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, we have a habit of like
was fun.
of walking up to people and be like, hey, I got this thing.
Yeah.
You want to come do this thing?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just come ask people to come play.
Great collaboration.
It's like, you want to come
Start
play
that
with
way.
us? Yeah, this was a show that we didn't audition, mostly because I was like, I had specific things in mind for the show, and I was like, okay, I'm going to handpick this cast. But you were the first person that I was like,
thank you.
That was...
For whatever reason I took so long, I apologize.
No,
I have
yes.
no idea why.
No, I was and like looking at it, I was like, that was in the middle of spring school year and all that. So I'm like, it was like Lab was probably doing something. I feel like this is a kind of a put y'all on the spot question, but what's it like being asked by a young director to be like, hey, can you play my in-laws?
I was deeply honored, to the point of tears, actually, and part of that had to do with the fact that I'd worked with you before on Mousetrap, right? Yeah. And when kind of I heard the backstory and everything, it was just, and also in terms of this universe, the fact that we are 20 years older than everybody around us, it was to be asked to do something was, I was touched. So
I echo that sentiment. It's extremely gratifying to be considered because there aren't a whole lot of roles in local theater for people over 35.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a triple threat in a musical. I can do bits and pieces. Non-musicals are where the roles are for people that are our age, unless you want to play Ann Eller for the rest of your
Oh,
life.
Yeah.
Um,
There's only so many times you can play Ann Eller too, so it's like, and who's doing Oklahoma? It was like Moonlight did it once, and then
no, that wasn't for Moonlight. That was for Oklahoma. I grew
Yeah.
up in Oklahoma, and everybody does it.
Yeah.
And I knew that because it was you guys, the combat stuff would be involved, and that intrigued me. It was fantastically interesting, and yeah, just being thought of as somebody who could hang with all this younger group.
it was so much fun
Yeah.
having y'all around. I just loved vibing with the entire cast of that show.
Yeah.
And it was such a tight knit group that, like, even though like not everybody got like as close to each other, but it was like one of those things. Like I had to go home to Kansas City for a couple days because my uncle passed away very unexpectedly. And there's the amount of support that I felt poured over me. And then just like I knew how much work everybody did while I was gone, because when I came back, I was like, okay, great. I was like, y'all did the work, and now we can have fun.
And we were also coming in as outsiders who hadn't been players for you before.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was no, oh, well, they shouldn't be here. It was very much, yes, come be part of the things, and we'll joke around with you and become your friend later.
Yes.
I had to I told Sweet Kobe yesterday, because this is talking about our upcoming Talon
Squad, Trust and Turmoil.
Oh, there's so many words. But anyway, I accidentally did write Trust and Talon on the title page of my script, and I'm like, this is it. This is the show. But we had a rehearsal this week where I was doing a bunch of the scenes with like the core Talon Squad, and Kobe is playing Juice, which is a character that Monica Gomez played at the table with everybody, but Monica Gomez is with child, so she is not playing Juice on stage. But it was a day where I was blocking scenes that the 5 of them were in, and the other 4 people had been pretty tight because we've been developing the show for a very long time, and we started like, we all make fun of each other a lot in a loving, kind as we can be way, and we started poking fun at Kobe, and I was like, Kobe, I want to clarify to you that it's good that we're making fun of you right now.
Yes.
It's like, I was like, if we weren't making fun of you, that would not be a good thing.
Right.
I enjoy the community that is being built, and it's been fun because it's a very similar vibe leading Talon Squad, and we have so many new people in that show. That has 13 new people that have not done anything with us before.
I love that.
That's awesome.
This was the first time in years that I had more people audition for a show I was directing than I needed. Like I had to make cuts for this show. And this is the first time in a very, honestly, since before.
It's the first time you've ever had to make cuts for a show.
Yeah, no, I have not had an experience of me running an audition as a director where I didn't have to make a phone call to somebody to like come fill a role since I was directing in undergrad. So not even real, because we all had to audition for everything in undergrad, and it was part of our grade. So we all had to do it. So for the last 6 years of doing this, like for community theater and doing professional stuff and all that, it's a nice little feeling of being like, oh, I didn't have to make a phone call this time. And that's the culture that we're hoping to build, that Ben and I are wanting to lead, of being like, if you come in, it doesn't matter like who you are, how old you are, what you look like, your experience with theater. If you've been doing this for years, if this is your first time doing it, like we have a handful of people in Talon Squad that this is their first time coming back to theater after a long time. They're people that have been doing this like all over the community, and it's just fun to just bring everybody together and be like, hey, we're gonna do a fun show. Like we're gonna do a spy show. And it was like fun, especially it was that 3.3 scene in Ordinary Heroes where we all got to be on stage together, except for Wendell and Rebecca. But everybody else got to be on stage together, and you guys got to be in 3 fight scenes, and it was really fun.
Hey man, we lived our best playground fantasy.
Yeah,
of making stuff up.
Well, and I was just thrilled because I have said this before, that there's so many times where actors come up with ideas that are so much better than anything I could have ever thought of. And the physicality that you guys had as a Fahrenheit's, like the different like poses that you guys would do, paired up with the lighting and sound design, I was like, this is so cool. And I loved the fight that you and Monica, y'all and Monica did. It was like something that y'all didn't. There was no contact with it. It was an elemental fight that we did, but it was
My
still
children told me that I was cringy.
Boo!
Yeah, that's
You're
what I said to them.
incorrect.
Forget the two of you.
Yeah. Speaking of being honored to be asked to do the role, when we were told that we could make up our attacks, that was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
we had no idea what we were going to do, and so we were just kind of coming up with things. And the idea that I'm internal and she's external in terms of the heat,
We didn't want it to be something where we had to be extremely physical. First of all, we're old.
right.
We were doing enough falling already.
Yeah.
But we did it right. Nobody was harmed.
Yeah.
But just coming up with something that looked kind of organic and not too Wonder Twins
Yeah.
or
Right.
Voltron weirdness.
The that technique that we were using is something that Justin and I used when we were doing Cycles, which is the tattoo that I have. That was his MFA thesis show that Ben and I were both in, and something that we were doing while we were developing the concept of the show, and then when we went into creating choreography, because that show is 40 scenes. That is basically
36 of them are fight scenes.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Like
Yeah.
only 4 have dialogue.
Goodness.
That was the best shape of my life I've ever been in. But when we were in devising rehearsals, a lot of it was like, oh, do we like flow through this and like make up fight things? And then Justin would come in and like actually teach us the technique. Because I was the only person in that show that had any stage combat experience. So there was a lot of learning on the job, but there was a lot of times where Justin would let us go explore different things where we could like come up with things, and then he would tweak it and fix it. And so I took that technique that he had used when I got to assistant direct and perform in that show. I took that into What If, which is how we kind of landed on like what superpower we wanted to have our main character for that show. And it's just been such a great method to use, like of just being like, hey, let's just play like we're kids and be like, what does it look like if we do this? And be like, don't actually punch each other, but like we can do slow-mo fights, being like, oh, it could look like this, or testing out like what movements could work. And then as a fight director, I can come in and be like, okay, this is how we make it sell on stage. And that was really cool.
But also like with super stylized fights like all of your guys' ones, this is a thing that I've also had to like I've snarkily wanted to say this to a few of my students sometimes, specifically some freshmen that I have in like Theater 1, of just like, listen, if you just get over yourself, you'd have so much fun. And that's always the thing of like, don't worry about like however you might look, right? If you have fun, then it's going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah. And honestly, that's what made that last like everybody versus Hayden fight work, because everybody was willing to play and like experiment and stuff. So when Jess and I were building that, we were like, oh, these people aren't afraid to just do things, to take risks, and like it might look goofy or feel goofy or whatever, but I mean, I'm like, there's some really cool production pictures now, and like watching back the recording of it, I'm like, this is cool. Like we all look really, really cool doing this.
Yeah. Well, and anytime Lark and I got around to like programming any of the fire cues, we were like, yes. So excited.
It felt so good when it hit at the right time. It just felt really good.
Yeah. There was a great partnership between the people in the booth and the people on stage going on during that. Especially 3.3. I loved you guys fighting Hayden. It was always very upsetting to see him like break your guys' fingers. I was like, oh no. But y'all played that super well. Oh no, I don't know how Talia is. Let's say he's 67,000
He's
feet
gotta
tall.
be six. He's gotta be 6'4".
Approximately.
6'4", yeah.
He's actually 6'5".
6'5", okay.
It is a running joke on the podcast that I will say that Hayden is taller every time, but now I think I've thrown it off. But
I was jealous that you got to run and like jump on
Oh,
him.
yeah.
And I was like, Hayden, could we just make a line and people could just run
Yeah,
and
just
do
do it
that
for
for a
funsies.
minute?
listen, it was there was one night I had a dream that I for some like that when I ran and jumped that he fell over. So I came in that day and I was like, hey buddy, I was like, I don't know, I might have like a little mental block with this, so can we like do it? And he was like, you're not gonna knock me over. And he never did. It was the most, it honestly, probably one of the most satisfying things I've gotten to do, like as a physical artist on stage, is getting to be a little kid, getting to run and jump into Superman's arms. Like,
Yeah.
it's a great production photo, a great memory. Love that guy. Don't move to Austin. Anyway.
Can I ask a question that I think is kind of fairly obvious and that I know what your answer will be, but I just want to confirm it?
Yeah.
He writes them in as the superheroes because that's how he sees them now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
Yeah.
okay, we're both gonna cry about this. I don't know if we've talked about this on a podcast episode yet, but this was a conversation that I distinctly remember us having one night, of like the idea that Mrs. Fahrenheit's powers are like way more, it's like an external thing, and you see it more, and she's a little bit more outward in like how she will like nurture and like take care of problems and stuff. And then like the thing with Mr. Fahrenheit, so like it's an internal thing. And when we were talking about it, like kind of comparing and contrasting, it was like between like mom and dad, of like the idea that like mom is like, it's very clear like how she's nurtures and all that, and with dad it's that it's not necessarily like the same mom nurture, it's a different thing, but it's like he's always there, and he did care and always has cared, even if there were like times where he didn't necessarily know how to navigate it, but it was like this very internal quiet power with that. And knowing how your parents are, it's like it's this
It
very,
was bananas getting to meet them.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was wild.
well, and we Monica gave him flack in her episode, but we'll give him flack again.
Yeah.
Benjamin did not tell his parents the context of this show, to the point where I did not realize how much your parents did not know when I heard your dad say like, I'm seeing my son's life happen
Yeah.
on stage, because he was like, oh yeah, it's like scene by scene, and then like when he caught on to it by like scene 3 or 4, he was like, oh, this is Ben. And and like just knowing that like all of the things that Wendell struggles with were things that you struggled with, and especially like the mental health crisis stuff that was happening when your mom was deployed, and it was like when that dad had to deal with all of that. So it was bananas, crazy, cuckoo, wild that Bill and Arjane Smith did not have a heads up of what they were gonna watch.
Well, they were extremely gracious to these
They
two
were.
people who were
They
just like,
were.
we've been living with you in our heads. And I hugged your
Yeah.
mom so tight. I'm sure she
Yeah.
was just like, I don't know you. Please go away.
It was speaking of being emotional. So a core memory for me is when you told me this story, like when we first started this, and you got emotional, Ben, I'm pointing to Ben right now, when you were telling me about you were talking about describing how we should do our attacks, right? And so I'm the internal power, and she's the external. Mrs. Fahrenheit's the external power, and I got emotional as well. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" And then to actually meet them, and I love the fact that, I mean, the circumstances were not ideal, but the fact that I got to wear some Baltimore Ravens gear. Was really awesome.
Well, and it's really funny because Bill Smith does not want those back. They are now they are now in our costume thing because
I love that.
He is so angry at the Ravens that he's
like, was it a bad time?
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not wearing these ever again. I think he's switched. I don't know what team he's switching to, but he really wants to. But yes, no. I asked him, I was like, do you want us to send these back? And he's like, no, I don't want them.
Yeah. Well, that was one that like I even after the show, and this like I won't defend myself on that point. Like, yes, I should have worn them, but also the thing in my brain is like, how do I bring that up? How?
And being like, hey guys.
But like one of the things that really struck me, and even like it was after the show that my parents were out and we were just like waiting around in the lobby. And I think my dad was talking with one of like Deacon's friends. Cause like, this is something it's ironically, my dad is way more of the extrovert between my two parents. He will
Bill
just like
Smith
start
knows how
talking
to
with
talk.
him. I remember when he came to see Mousetrap, he immediately just like started talking with Taylor full on as if they've been friends for like years after the show.
Oh, I love that.
But
he does not know a stranger.
Yeah. But
cool.
so I think Deacon's friend was just saying, it's like, oh yeah, we're just sharing whatever his thoughts were on the show. And I remember my dad stepping in and just sort of like saying like, oh yeah, no, I didn't process how, I'm trying to like, I don't remember the exact words he was using, but like him basically explaining, he's like, no, what you saw up there was what it felt like.
Oh.
And he was saying it's like from his perspective. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I think because that person was kind of talking about like the idea of like the realism or something with the show, and he was like, I don't know if it was like actual realistic or whatever, and then your dad being like, no, that's what it was, and he did it in a kind way because
it started with the spaghetti thing, and
Yes.
then it got into the other stuff because everyone gave me crap for how the dialogue was written around spaghetti of like, oh, what kind of noodles do you want, but they were still calling it spaghetti, and I'm like, listen, that's how we talk.
conversation.
Yeah,
that's how we
Still his.
still talk.
I love that.
I dropped a little Easter egg myself. I never felt like more of a badass in my life than in those fatigues.
Yeah.
The jacket that I added, the green jacket, belongs to a friend that we made in medical school. And he has served 2 tours in Afghanistan himself. And he gave it to me. Well, 15 years ago, I was pregnant with Eleanor.
Wow.
And I was looking for something to go over the t-shirt. I just felt lumpy. And I was like, why don't I try that? And it worked. And I was like,
Yeah.
I got
It looked
I think
awesome.
Yeah.
Billy Jordan, you got a name drop.
Nice.
Yeah.
It is a. I remember some of our friends reading the volume 1 for the first time, and they were like, "Is mom dead?"
And I'm like,
whenever
no,
she-
no, no, no,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
no, no.
I remember that too.
And I was
People
like,
thinking,
no, she's
people thinking that it was a ghost coming in behind
Yeah.
the superheroes that are standing in the room.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
that's one that I knew too. Is like this is in the writing, especially writing that scene, and I was like, this is one no one except a military kid is going to get this right off the bat.
Right.
You know, and it's like
I
that's
didn't
just
even
the
know
price of and it's like that's just the price of writing it that way, you know, and it's the concessions that I was willing to make, and I was like, no, this is the rest of it will be explained
And you're
later
not
on.
making the assumption that your audience is stupid.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah.
There are going to be people that pick up on that.
Yeah.
I get so bent out of shape whenever people are like, I couldn't relate to that, and I'm like, you're not supposed to relate to everything.
Yeah, I hope not.
Yeah.
Right.
Like not every show that you see, like I really hope that people like don't go see something like freaking Heather's. Well, I don't know. That's not a good example because there are characters that are relatable in it. I'm trying to think of some. I hope people don't go see Avenue Q and they're like, oh, that's so relatable to me. I was like, you shouldn't be relating to these vulgar puppets. Like, just it's not all about. It's not always about being relatable. It's like it's like there's someone in that audience who understands this and they can relate to it, but you can also still enjoy art without having a personal relationship
Right.
to like what is
Sure,
happening on
sure.
stage.
Yeah.
Doing the show came at such an interesting time in both of our lives. And honestly, I think the fact that we did it in January instead of November ended up impacting us more just because I'm gonna show you the details of it, but the kids that Ben and I get to love on, like with his students, and like I've gotten very invested with his students. There are a lot of kids like dealing with scary stuff and it directly related to the military, and it's those things that I only experienced Ben's family leaving once. It was for
my mom got sent to the NATO Defense College.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't even like a deployment thing.
Sure.
It was a huge honor to just like, oh no,
Yes.
go be paid to be in school for a couple of years.
but
Still.
and it was right before COVID too. So like
Yes.
whenever, and then mom was like, they were in Rome during COVID, or like they were in Naples. They had just moved to Naples whenever COVID hit. So they had a way more difficult time being in Italy than we did in the States. But then she ended up being in charge of logistics for the pullout from Afghanistan. And it was like one of those things where we were like worried for a little bit. It was like, is she going to get sent away? But she was too competent. So they needed her to stay where she was, which I was like, yeah, go Arjun. You're too good at your job. But that was my only experience with like dealing with that. And it was before we were even engaged that we went through that together. But it watching that happen was so difficult, and I was like, I can't imagine living this over and over and over again. And that's what you know. I do not know that. Like us moving to Texas, that was the furthest I've ever moved ever. And like I had a really rough time with it because I had just never, but then it made me empathize more with you of being like, you've done this so many times during your formative years. That sucks a lot. But now we're loving on kids who are getting ready to go into the military or who love people that are in the military, and it is sobering to like hold a child who is scared about adult things.
Can I just say that, and I tell James this all the time. James, dear listeners, James is one of my best friends.
Yes.
I tell him this all the time. He works as a counselor. I'm so glad that they get you guys. People who are willing to have those conversations and look past them being a kid.
Yeah. I mean, because there's one conversation I had recently of telling a kid, being like, I was like, you are a kid, but you're dealing with grown-up problems. And that really sucks. And you shouldn't have to be doing that as a kid. And I think it's so important to tell kids when they are dealing with adult problems, being like, you shouldn't have to be dealing with this. You are a child. And but also backing them up of being like, but you have support to navigate it. You're not alone going through it. So doing this a little bit later, especially like as we started getting to know the kids a little bit more, it just opened my eyes up so much more empathy wise. And even just reading the script for the first time, whenever you finished it, I was like, oh, I understand you more. Like I know my spouse better after reading the script, and then getting to direct and perform in the show. Like I was like, I'm so grateful that you trusted us to do this story and get it out there. Cause like, I think your stories, you have a remarkable story, and live a remarkable life. And if other like military kids or like other kids in similar situations get to see that and feel seen, I think that that's really important.
Do we get to come back? Do the Fahrenheits come back?
I think absolutely.
That's a great question.
Would you do it again, James?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding?
Heck yeah.
1,000 times.
Well, listen, I know. So I've been talking to people. This is kind of like a sneak peek into our 2027 season. So every year we're wanting to do a thing called Spotlight, which is a short play festival. And so for this year, it's in September, and we have 8 writer teams. But I do know that we are going to have Spotlight be like our opening slot moving forward, just because it's a bunch of like 10 to 15 minute plays.
Sure.
So it won't be as like heavy rehearsal time. So that'll be the one that we do like in February. And we're never doing a show over a break ever again, over a Christmas break ever again. We've done it 2 years in a row, and I don't know why I didn't learn my lesson the first time. But it's fine. we live and learn. But so if there's anybody out there that wants to write something for the Fahrenheits for Spotlight 2027, let me know. Because as far out as it's like, oh, it's so far away, but I'm like, I gotta start thinking about this now.
Yep.
I'm already thinking about 2028 season.
Wow.
Why don't we write it?
You guys want to write a Fahrenheit script?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
start
man.
writing it. And that's something that we've been, it's been fun that there are a few people that have expressed that they're like, hey, we want to write, but they're like, I haven't written a play before. And Ben and I are like, we would love to help you with that.
Yeah.
And that's been another thing with Reinvent. It's like, I want people to, like, I was like, I need to train up more directors. I want to train up more stage managers and playwrights and technicians and all that jazz. And I'm just like, who you want to do a thing? Do a thing. Great. Let's do it. Yay. So heck yeah.
I love that.
Write a play for the Fahrenheits. I think it'd be really cool.
Oh,
We're trying to,
fun stuff.
Matt is writing a circuit play for this year's
Nice.
Spotlight. So,
Matt from Language Archive, Matt?
Yeah. Mhm.
You know, I confused one of those improv players with him
Oh,
last
yeah.
night, Diego.
yeah.
He came
yeah.
out and I was like, hey, it's Matt. And then he said his name. I was like, that's not Matt.
That's not bad.
yeah, it's not Matt. They have a similar vibe, though. They have like a similar like,
build.
build
The,
and like,
the
Yeah.
little bit of the scrap and the
Yeah.
mustache.
oh yeah. No, Matt was powerlifting that night. Couldn't have been him. He was lifting 400 pounds off the ground. I thought that was pretty
Dang.
cool.
He doesn't look like he can do that.
No, yeah, it's crazy.
Quads
Sorry,
of
dude.
steel.
Hmm.
No, Matt Lamar, buff as hell, can lift at least 400 pounds.
Dang.
So,
That's wild, yeah.
it's really
Mr.
cool.
Fahrenheit will never do that.
And that's okay. He doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to.
Before we wrap up this episode, Beth and James, is there anything you want to shout out or give a plug to?
Well, I'm excited to be in the booth for Talent Squad. So
Yeah.
I started back when I was working with high schoolers in theater. I started in doing sound and lights and stuff like that. And so to be in the booth doing, I think, sound or lights or something, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure
Whatever.
it out.
Booth something. So I'm excited about that.
You'll be in one of those chairs.
Yeah.
I'm excited to participate in the same show, the Trust and Turmoil. I'll be playing Bonnie Black, and rehearsals have started for that, and it's great so far.
Yeah.
And James and I both volunteer with Lubbock Art Builders.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to them.
They're super great.
yeah.
We have a good time, and we get to make cool stuff.
Yeah,
We
you
do.
guys,
Mostly we execute James and I execute other people's ideas. We are not designers.
Very
but
much.
I loved the mountain that you guys made, or volcano, or whatever it is for SpongeBob.
Mhm.
That one
Oh,
was
that
really
was
cool.
cool.
I remember when Kelton, when that was being built, he was so excited. He was like, "We got Lab to do this for us," and I was like, "Oh, that's so great."
Yeah.
No, they're really great. I've talked to Lauren before. I was like, I really want us to collaborate at some point, so I'm hoping that that'll happen.
Cool.
Down
Yeah.
the line.
And of course to our families, our spouses and our children.
Yes.
Yes, the spouses who are chill with y'all coming out at 9:30 after Ben cut his finger open to record a podcast.
But it really is gracious of them to let us go out and express in a way that's really vital to us, even if
Yeah.
if they don't get it all the time.
Yeah.
No offense, guys. We love you.
We love
Dear
you.
Christy. That's another
It's a
different
running joke.
Oh, and also to the fishness. We love you
Yeah.
guys. It's weird. It's our friend group. That's kind of what we call it. And
Nice.
I love that. Our next episode of Lore Drop is with Matt Lamar, talking about Circuit. We're continuing on with our Ordinary Heroes character walkthrough, so keep your eyes out for that. That'll be out on April 12th.
And remember,
Being fantastic starts with being a fan.
Nice! Sweet!
Reinvent Productions is proudly sponsored by 5 Points Corporation Lubbock and Savannah Rashida Photography, as well as our other wonderful community patrons. Our home base in Lubbock is Hollingsworth Hall Cultural Center at 4228 Boston Avenue. For more information on how to support our 501c3 organization, you can check out our website at www.reinvent-productions.com. To directly support our upcoming audio drama, you can become a Lore Drop sponsor. For just $10, you can sponsor an episode of this podcast. All donations will go towards support for our upcoming production of Children of Destiny Cataclysm Season 1, which will begin releasing episodes June 22nd, 2026. Funds will go towards paying our wonderful voice actors and creative staff for their fantastic talent and time. We have over 30 artists globally working on this production, and we can't wait for you to hear it this summer. You can donate at givebutter.com/LoreDropSponsor. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at reinvent.productions, as well as on Facebook and Twitch, where we stream gaming and a look behind the scenes on how we create our new works. Be sure to follow us to stay in the loop about upcoming productions, auditions, and more. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of Lore Drop.